it's very important because it just highlights again the complete incompetence of the management of this scheme. And I will say it again, the incompetence of Lorna Slater in running the scheme or failing to run the scheme, and also still failing to accept any responsibility for it whatsoever. But in case anyone didn't see the story, basically Biffa, the company that was contracted to collect all the sort of empty bottles and cans and things as part of the deposit return scheme. Obviously, they invested a huge amount of money to prepare for the scheme. And then when the scheme was cancelled, their investment was essentially wasted. So they have now launched legal action against the Scottish Government to try and recover that investment. And clearly, the Scottish Government feel as if it's Westminster's fault that the scheme didn't go ahead. Therefore, they're blaming Westminster, but it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because I don't really think in court they're going to be able to use a defence that it's someone else's fault when it was their own scheme. But interestingly, sources told me that part of their court action, part of the claim, they're referencing specifically that they were given reassurances personally from Lorna Slater that the scheme was going to go ahead, which gave them confidence to invest that huge amount of money. I think it was £55 million. So, I mean, she can continue to pretend that it's nothing to do with her and it's not her fault, but Lorna Slater is now being named as, someone who's responsible for this lawsuit. I just think it's appalling, and it might seem harsh. People might think, oh, you've got a real issue with Lorna Slater. It's not about Lorna Slater as a person. I've got a real issue with, politicians and ministers failing to take responsibility when things are quite clearly their responsibility. It's the same as Michael Matheson, and why I get so angry about that, because I just felt like, it's quite clear that something has gone wrong here. He's misled people in some way, and he should not be fit to be a minister, and yet he continued for 3 months. And it's the same with Lorna Slater. I'm gobsmacked that she was able to completely avoid, so far anyway, any sort of real scrutiny of the mishandling of this whole policy. Anyway, that's my rant over.